Most men over 60 own at least 3 polo shirts and wear all of them incorrectly. Not wrong colors, not wrong occasions. Wrong in the specific details that separate a polo shirt that looks considered from a polo shirt that looks like whatever was clean. The polo is the most versatile piece in the sport casual wardrobe, but only when 5 specific details are correct. Get one wrong and the polo reads as casual. Get all 5 right and the polo reads as deliberately assembled. The most important detail of all 5 is the last one. Do not skip ahead. The polo shirt after 60 is not a compromise piece. It is not the shirt a man wears when he cannot decide between a t-shirt and an Oxford. These 5 details are what separate a correctly worn polo from an incorrectly worn one. Each detail is specific. Each is immediately visible, and each one is consistently overlooked by most men over 60 who wear a polo shirt on most weekends of most years without ever questioning whether the specific details are correct. On this channel, classic menswear for men over 60 who want to look sharp without overcomplicating it. No trends, just what works. In this video, the right way to wear a polo shirt after 60. 5 specific details. What each one does, why each one matters, and exactly how to apply all 5 the next time the polo comes out of the wardrobe. The first detail of the correctly worn polo. The fit, specifically 3 fit points that must all be correct simultaneously, the shoulder seam at the natural edge, the body with no more than 2 inches of ease through the torso, and the sleeves ending at the mid-upper arm. Here is what each fit point produces. The shoulder seam at the natural edge produces the broadest possible shoulder impression, the polo filling the shoulder as the jacket fills the shoulder, the body appearing to occupy the piece rather than disappear inside it. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The mid-upper arm sleeve is the fit point most men over 60 get wrong most consistently because most polos are cut with sleeves that fall to the elbow or below it, and most men accept this length because it is the factory default, and this is where most men get it completely wrong. They assess the polo by how it feels rather than how it looks. The 3 fit checks for the polo. Shoulder seam. Put the polo on and look in the mirror. The seam should sit at the break between the shoulder and the upper arm. Body ease. Pinch the fabric at the sides of the torso, no more than 2 inches of fabric between fingers. Takeaway. The correctly fitted polo, shoulder seam at the natural edge, 2 inches of body ease, sleeves at mid-upper arm, reads as assembled rather than comfortable. 3 fit checks confirm it. The tailor can shorten the sleeves for $10 to $15 if the factory length is too long. And once the fit is correct, the second detail is the one that most directly communicates whether the polo is being worn with intention, and it takes less than 30 seconds to confirm every morning. The second detail communicates whether the polo is being worn with intention. Less than 30 seconds to confirm every morning. Most men skip it completely. Detail 2. Intention visible in 30 seconds. Skipped by most men completely. The second detail of the correctly worn polo. The collar, flat, structured, and worn with the top button open. The polo collar is the only architectural element that separates a polo from a crew neck t-shirt. It frames the face from below. Here is what the flat, structured collar produces. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The polo collar stays flat and structured only when the polo is correctly sized, and this is where most men get it completely wrong. The collar check. Put the polo on. Check the collar in the mirror. Both points should be horizontal, not curling downward, not lifting away from the shirt. The top button should be open, creating the vertical V at the throat. If the collar is curling, the polo is probably too large. Takeaway. The polo collar, flat, structured, top button open, is the architectural element that makes the polo more than a t-shirt. It frames the face, it creates the vertical corridor, it communicates intention. The collar flat and the top button open. The second polo detail confirmed every morning in 30 seconds. And once the collar is flat and the top button is open, the third detail is the one that determines whether the polo reads as sharp or casual from the furthest distance, before the collar or the fit is close enough to read. The third detail determines whether the polo reads as sharp or casual from the furthest distance, before the collar or the fit is close enough to read. Detail 3. Sharp or casual from the furthest distance, before collar or fit reads. The third detail of the correctly worn polo. The color, warm, solid, and without loud pattern or large visible branding. The polo color is the first thing visible at any distance, before the fit, before the collar, before any other detail. Here is why warm and solid specifically after 60. Silver hair provides the natural contrast point at the top of any outfit, the brightest element, the one piece that does not need to be echoed anywhere else in the combination. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The polo pattern that feels subtle on the hanger, the fine stripe, the small check, often reads as busy when worn because the movement of the fabric during activity makes the pattern more visible rather than less. And this is where most men get it completely wrong. They choose the patterned polo or the brightly colored polo because it feels more interesting than the solid warm version. The solid warm polo is not less interesting. The correct polo colors for men over 60 with silver hair: soft navy, the most universally correct; warm olive, the most distinguished against silver hair in natural light; warm white or warm ivory, the lightest and most versatile. Takeaway: warm, solid polo in soft navy, warm olive, warm white, warm gray or camel. No loud pattern, no large visible branding. The color that works with the silver hair rather than competing with it. The control that reads as sharp from the furthest distance before any other detail is close enough to read. And once the color is warm and solid, the fourth detail is the one at the base of the polo, the specific trouser and shoe combination that makes the polo read as sport casual rather than simply casual. The fourth detail is at the base of the polo, the trouser and shoe combination that makes the polo read as sport casual rather than simply casual. Detail 4. At the base. Sport casual, not simply casual. The fourth detail of the correctly worn polo. The base, specifically the trouser and shoe combination that makes the polo read as sport casual rather than simply casual. Here is what the base communicates. The dark, straight-legged chino beneath the polo communicates that the polo's casualness was chosen rather than defaulted to. The chino is a considered casual trouser rather than whatever trousers were clean. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The choice between a leather loafer and a clean leather sneaker at the base of the polo combination is a formality calibration, not a quality distinction. And this is where most men get it completely wrong. They wear the polo with whatever trouser and shoe was most accessible, the light wash jeans from the bedroom floor, the worn trainer from beside the front door. The accessible base produces the simply casual reading. The two correct polo base combinations: sport casual, dark navy or stone straight-leg chino, slim leather loafer in warm brown or tan. The combination for any occasion where the polo needs to communicate deliberate casualness. Takeaway: the polo reads as sport casual when worn with a dark straight-leg chino and a slim leather loafer or clean leather sneaker. It reads as simply casual when worn with light wash baggy jeans and a worn-out trainer. The trouser and shoe combination determines the reading of the polo above it. And once the base makes the polo read as sport casual, The fifth and most impactful detail is the one that activates the entire combination simultaneously and that most men overlook because it does not involve the clothes at all. The last detail activates the entire polo combination simultaneously, does not involve the clothes at all. The most impactful polo detail available. Detail 5, not the clothes, activates everything most impactful. The fifth and most impactful detail of the correctly worn polo. The posture, shoulders back, chin level, the collar of the polo presented forward rather than compressed against a forward-leaning chest. Here is what the posture does to the polo specifically. The polo collar sits at the throat, the point where the posture most directly affects the garment's presentation. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The polo specifically benefits more from correct posture than most other pieces because the polo collar is the polo's only architectural element. The blazer has the shoulder, the lapel, and the pocket square. And this is where most men get it completely wrong. They put on the correctly fitted polo, confirm the collar is flat, and then walk out with shoulders slightly forward, compressing the collar and closing the vertical corridor that the flat collar was supposed to create. 4 correct polo details. The posture check for the polo. Put the polo on, check the collar flat and top button open, then check the posture. Shoulders at their natural width, released downward, not pulled back, simply not forward. Chin level, chest open. Picture this. A man over 60 in a soft navy polo, correctly fitted, shoulder seam at natural edge, body with 2 inches of ease, sleeves at mid-upper arm, the collar flat, top button open, the vertical corridor creating the face directive. Takeaway. The shoulders back, chin level posture is the fifth and most impactful polo detail because it activates the collar, opens the vertical corridor, and makes the face the most prominent element in the combination simultaneously. 3 seconds before leaving, the posture confirmed. And once all 5 details are understood, the complete correctly worn polo and why it is the most capable sport casual piece available to any man over 60 becomes clear. Here is the correctly worn polo after 60, correctly fitted, shoulder seam at natural edge, 2 inches of body ease, sleeves at mid-upper arm, collar flat and structured, top button open, vertical corridor present. Warm solid color, soft navy, warm olive, warm white, or camel. Why the polo is the most versatile sport casual piece. Correctly worn, the polo handles more occasions than any other sport casual top. More capable than the t-shirt, the collar elevates it above purely casual. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The correctly worn polo communicates something specific that no other sport casual piece can communicate, that the man is active and considered simultaneously. The 5 polo details confirmed before leaving. Fit. Shoulder seam at natural edge, body 2 inches of ease, sleeves at mid-upper arm, collar flat, structured, top button open, color warm solid in navy, olive, white, or camel. Base dark chino and leather loafer or clean leather sneaker. The polo at 3 occasions. Morning walk that becomes a cafe, correctly fitted soft navy polo, dark stone chino, clean white leather sneaker, tan leather watch strap, posture settled. The cost of the correctly worn polo, correctly fitted polo in warm solid color, $30 to $50 at any mid-range retailer, sleeve shortening by tailor if needed, $10 to $15. Dark, straight-leg chino, $40 to $60 if not already owned. Takeaway. 5 details, correctly fitted, shoulder, body, sleeve, collar flat, structured, top button open, warm solid color, navy, olive, white, or camel. Base, dark chino and leather shoe, posture, shoulders released, chin level. Here is the final truth about the polo shirt after 60. The polo is not a compromise piece. It is not the shirt for men who cannot decide what to wear. Not a compromise, a capability. Not casual by default, sport casual by intention. Not whatever polo was clean, the correctly fitted, correctly collared, correctly colored, correctly based, correctly postured polo. 5 details. This morning. Which of these 5 polo details are you applying first? Drop it in the comments. The one that most surprises men, the one they never expected to make this much difference, is almost always the second one. The collar flat and the top button open. What was yours? Subscribe for straight, practical style advice for men who value confidence over trends. Next video, 5 outfit mistakes every man over 60 makes at the weekend.